Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Many of us feel like two people trapped in one body, constantly pulled in opposite directions. There's the version of you the world sees, composed, confident, in control. And then there's the version you'd rather hide, the doubts, fears, and impulses that don't quite fit the image you've built. This isn't a sign of weakness or failure. Jung believed this duality is at the heart of what it means to be human. It's the tension between the persona, the mask we wear for society, and the shadow, the parts of ourselves we've buried or denied. The parts of you that you suppress, the ones you fear or reject, might hold the key to becoming your most authentic self. Jung saw this tension not as a problem to be fixed, but as a path to transformation, a way to confront the pieces of yourself you've hidden and reclaim your wholeness. So, why does this divide exist? What can it teach us about who we are? And most importantly, how can understanding it lead to a more fulfilling, integrated life? Let's dive into Jung's groundbreaking ideas and discover how embracing your shadow might be the most liberating thing you ever do. What is the persona? The persona is the mask we wear to navigate the world, the version of ourselves we carefully curate to meet societal expectations. It's not inherently bad. It allows us to adapt to different roles and situations. But it's not the whole truth of who we are. For instance, think of the friend who always appears cheerful and optimistic, even when they're struggling internally. Their persona serves as a buffer, projecting strength while concealing vulnerability. But this mask, if overused, can become a barrier, distancing them from their authentic self and deeper emotions. What is the shadow? The shadow, on the other hand, represents the hidden, often suppressed aspects of our personality. These include fears, desires, impulses, or traits that don't align with the image we want to project. Imagine congratulating a friend on their success while secretly feeling envious. That envy belongs to the shadow, a part of you that society has conditioned you to suppress because it feels uncomfortable or wrong. But it's still there, lurking beneath the surface, shaping how you feel and act in subtle ways. Carl Jung developed these ideas after years of studying myths, religion, and human behavior. He noticed that many ancient stories mirrored this inner conflict. Heroes wore masks of bravery, but battled inner demons in their journeys. Jung believed this duality wasn't unique to myth, it's universal, deeply embedded in the human experience. In modern terms, think of the archetypes we see in movies. The hero and the villain often represent different sides of the same person. This reflects our own struggle to reconcile the persona with the shadow. Ignoring the shadow doesn't make it disappear. In fact, suppression often gives it more power. When we deny or reject parts of ourselves, they don't vanish. They retreat into the unconscious, where they quietly influence our emotions, decisions, and relationships. For example, someone who prides themselves on being selfless might suppress feelings of frustration or resentment. Over time, these buried emotions can surface as passive aggression, burnout, or even sudden outbursts. Jung warned that by ignoring our shadow, we risk letting it control us in ways we don't realize. The traits we try to hide can emerge in unhealthy ways, damaging our relationships, careers, and sense of self. If the shadow is so powerful, how does it shape the way we see the world and ourselves? Jung believed that the tension between the persona and the shadow manifests in surprising ways, influencing everything from our relationships to our creativity. The tension between the persona and the shadow can create a deep sense of inner conflict. You might appear outwardly successful, ticking all the boxes society expects, yet still feel disconnected or unfulfilled. This dissonance happens because the version of yourself you project to the world isn't aligned with the parts of you that remain hidden. Suppressed emotions also don't stay buried for long. They often surface as anxiety, frustration, or even anger. For example, someone who prides themselves on being calm and collected might suddenly lash out when overwhelmed. These moments aren't random. They're glimpses of the shadow breaking through the persona's carefully constructed facade. Carl Jung believed that one of the most common ways the shadow influences us is through projection. When we suppress parts of ourselves, we unconsciously see them in others, often as traits we dislike or criticize. Imagine judging someone as arrogant or boastful. Why does their behavior bother you so much? If you dig deeper, you might find it highlights an insecurity within yourself, perhaps a fear of inadequacy, or a longing for the confidence they seem to embody. Projection distorts our reality, making us believe the flaws we see are purely external. In truth, they're often reflections of our own unresolved emotions. As Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. This phenomenon isn't confined to our personal relationships. It extends to the digital world, where our interactions are often filtered through carefully curated images and posts. Social media has become a mirror that not only reflects how we want to be seen, but also amplifies the divide between our persona and shadow. Let's take a closer look at how this plays out online. Platforms like Instagram and LinkedIn encourage us to present idealized versions of ourselves. We share achievements, highlight our best moments, and curate our lives to fit societal expectations. This constant focus on the persona leaves little room for the messy, authentic parts of who we are. The shadow gets buried even deeper. Yet, the pressure to maintain this persona can lead to feelings of inadequacy. We compare our unfiltered reality to someone else's highlight reel, fueling a cycle of self-doubt and disconnection. This dynamic isn't just limited to social media or personal relationships, it's deeply ingrained in our professional lives as well. In many workplaces, the pressure to maintain a flawless persona often overshadows the need for authenticity and emotional connection. Let's explore how this tension manifests in professional environments. For example, a leader might hide their fears or uncertainties to maintain authority, but this suppression can lead to burnout or strained relationships with colleagues. By ignoring their shadow, they miss the opportunity to connect on a deeper, more human level. This divide between the persona and the shadow can feel overwhelming, but Jung believed there was a way to bridge the gap. He called this process individuation, a journey of integrating the hidden parts of ourselves to achieve balance and authenticity. Jung's concept of individuation is the process of integrating the persona and the shadow into a unified, authentic self. Start by recognizing suppressed traits and emotions without judgment. Ask, what do I dislike in others, and what does that reveal about me? Use journaling, therapy, or meditation to explore the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. Accept that imperfection is part of being human. Carl Jung believed that the tension between the persona and the shadow wasn't something to eliminate, but to embrace. He called the process of resolving this tension individuation, a journey toward integrating these two sides to create a unified, authentic self. Individuation isn't about perfection. It's about wholeness. It's the process of bringing the unconscious parts of ourselves into the light, acknowledging them without judgment, and learning to live as a complete, balanced individual. The first step to integration is recognizing the parts of yourself you've suppressed. This isn't easy. It requires honesty and self-awareness. Start by asking, what traits in others irritate me? What does this reveal about myself? For example, if arrogance in someone else bothers you, it might point to insecurities about your own confidence or self-worth. Once you've identified aspects of your shadow, take time to explore them. Tools like journaling, therapy, or meditation can help you dig deeper into your hidden emotions, desires, and fears. Write down moments of irritation or emotional discomfort and analyze what they reveal about you. A professional can guide you in navigating and understanding your shadow. Quiet moments allow you to observe thoughts and emotions without judgment. Accepting that imperfection is part of being human is a crucial step. Vulnerability allows you to connect with yourself and others on a deeper level. By letting go of the need to appear perfect, you can release the pressure of maintaining a false image, sharing your struggles with a trusted friend instead of hiding behind a facade of strength. By understanding both your persona and shadow, you gain insight into what truly drives your thoughts, emotions, and actions. The inner conflict between who you are and who you think you should be begins to fade, leaving room for acceptance and harmony. When you embrace your whole self, you naturally build stronger, more meaningful connections with others. Relationships no longer revolve around appearances, but mutual understanding and authenticity. Letting go of the need to project a perfect persona liberates you from the exhausting cycle of pretending. This freedom allows you to live more genuinely, aligned with your true values. Individuation is not a destination, but a lifelong journey. By integrating the persona and the shadow, you unlock the potential for a more balanced and fulfilling life. But what does this integration ultimately mean for how we see ourselves and the world? Feeling like two different people isn't a flaw. It's a reflection of the natural tension between your persona and shadow. The persona is the light you present to the world, the version of you that meets societal expectations. The shadow is the part of you that remains hidden, filled with fears, desires, and traits you'd rather not face. Carl Jung believed this duality is not a problem but an opportunity. By integrating these two sides, you can unlock your truest self, a complete, balanced individual who embraces both strengths and imperfections. Thank you for watching. If you found this video insightful, please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. And don't forget to comment below. What part of your shadow are you ready to explore? Your persona and shadow are not enemies. They are partners in your journey toward wholeness. Embracing both sides allows you to live authentically and with greater self-awareness. As Jung wisely said, knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people. By facing your shadow, you not only heal yourself, but also improve your relationships and your understanding of the world.